Ready? Are we ready?
I'm sure.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now call the May 16th, 2019 meeting to order. Roll call shows everyone is present except for Pat, and she is excused. Are there any agenda changes? We will now go to number 4, consent agenda. May 2nd, 2019 regular board meeting minutes. B is licenses and permits, operator licenses. 1 is L.E.K. Ramsey. Temporary operator license, 1 is Peter Oak, 2 is Jane Oak. Temporary Class B retailer license, 1 Hortonville Legion Baseball, Rick Ponko in charge. May 31st and June 2nd, 2019 Commercial Club Park concession stand. Number 2, Hortonville Homecoming, Peter Oak in charge. May 31st and June 1st, 2019 Alonzo Park. C, presentation of accounts and other claims against the village. Are there any questions?
I think in the past we've separated them out, although Peter could simply abstain as to those
I pledge it.
portions. Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay. If there aren't any questions, could I have a motion, please?
I will make a motion to approve.
Second.
We will do a roll. Dan?
Aye.
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 Abstain.
And you could, you can just abstain to the temporary operator's license in Hortonville Homecoming and back on the others, or you could abstain.
Oh, for all.
Thank you.
Are there any pre-registered citizens to be heard?
Christina Mishler.
And I, first of all, want to say I'm not a village resident, so I just signed up to speak because I wanted to introduce myself to everyone. I know I've met a few people, but I'm the court clerk here. So I'm Christina Mishler, I've been here since last February, so I just wanted to say hello to everyone. That's all.
Thank you. Number 6 is committee reports, and there are none. Number 7, unfinished business from previous meetings. There is none. Number 8, new business. A, appoint village trustee to fill remaining term. We have chosen Shauna Keel. What is your last name? Strelo. And so, do we need any discussion on this, or
It
Do
would
we
just
just
be
need
to
a
take a
motion?
motion, a second, and then a roll call vote.
okay? And does anyone want to make a motion, please?
Make a motion to appoint Shawna
I will second that.
to the
Roll.
village board. Okay. Aye.
Roll.
Aye.
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 Motion carried.
Welcome, Sean.
Thank you.
B is R-7-19, adding a rush fee for real estate inquiries.
I will take that one. One of the things at the Treasurers Conference, I was informed that many municipalities charge a rush fee for the real estate inquiries, and we've been getting quite a few that say rush on them, meaning they want it right away, turnaround time. Some of the rush fees vary from $30 to $60, so we added an additional $20 to make it a $50 fee if they wanted it rushed. And last year we had about 83 of these. So that's just something I thought that we could.
Does everyone understand what a real estate inquiry is?
Like when somebody's purchasing a property and they do a real estate inquiry to see if there's anything liens on from the village,
Yeah.
and is that how I
Yeah,
understand it?
assessments, taxes, that type of thing,
Okay.
unpaid utilities.
And I was gonna ask if that includes utilities.
Yes.
So you're just looking for a motion to add the rush fee, or what are you asking to add?
Yes, a motion, it's a resolution, right?
In your packet,
But
Julie.
a motion and a second would be.
Okay. All right,
So moved.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. C is O-8-19, vehicle parking for repair or display for sale.
Chris, you or I?
Go ahead.
Okay. Chris and I discussed this at the advice of her and I. We are putting this in front of you. We've had certain amount of calls, complaints, essentially not so much the repair of vehicles, but that's written in the ordinance. However, there has been a pop-up of what we call small used car lots in the village that fall on residential property. Some of them on Highway 15, and with the amount of traffic already on Highway 15, the less that we can have as a deterrent to actually driving, rather than having used car lots anywhere in the village. It probably just, it's a cleanup action here. People are complaining and saying that, hey, we don't wanna have to look at it. It's one thing if you have one car lot, or one car, but eventually it becomes 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then you next thing you know, it's a problem. So, simple language, I believe you got it from Shiocton, correct?
Shiocton and Seymour, they have the same.
This is the exact language that was taken from their ordinance books, so if you want to review it before we can have further discussion on it.
I have a question about A and B under number 2. So the consent to display the vehicle has been given by the owner of the premises. So let's take my yard, for example. If somebody wants to put a vehicle in my front yard, a friend could do it. But then B says the owner of the vehicle is on the premises or resides there. So I couldn't let a friend put in my front yard, or I could?
I think what you need to do, Julie, is you need to read number 2.
Okay. And I did, and that's where I'm
And this is referring to business.
business-owned
zone.
property. And my property is downtown zoning, which isn't business, but kind of is, it's not residential. So I guess that, because people do occasionally ask us if they can use our yard, would I be,
You would be probably the one of the only
yeah.
few
So,
exclusions.
but any typical resident, it's not a big deal, it's just the
Correct.
business?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Are there any other questions? Are we looking for a motion on this
Yeah,
tonight?
this would be an ordinance.
Okay.
So yes, this would have to go to a vote.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve O-8-19.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. D, O-9-19, amend ordinance 8.03 2A, driveway cut width.
There was an additional piece of paper that you may have received tonight, an additional handout. The one that's highlighted is what was in the packet. Essentially, that's the language that was added. I gave Jane the wrong one to put in the packet, so you will actually have a separate handout tonight, O-9-19. So essentially, we're amending 803-2-A on the width, and a lot of this has to come down to, we have duplexes that are currently building with contiguous driveways and not separated driveways, but we don't have language in our current ordinance book. So in order to make it compliant, we're adding a language that says if you build a duplex with a contiguous driveway, which is in his R2 zoned R2 zone residential area, the maximum allowable curb cut is 48 feet. So again, this is something that is already happening in the village. We just don't have the language in our current ordinance book to accommodate it. The way it's written otherwise is if you split the driveways, we are requiring a minimum of 10 feet of separation between the driveways and then not to exceed 24 feet. So you can have 2 24s or 148 as maximum. Simple language. You'll see this up in Richard Kinnison's area. There's a few on, what was it, Cordy? Cordy Lane has one that's 42 and one that's 48. as the area is developing, it's primarily a R2 designated area with side-by-side duplex housing. So we're gonna see that area being built out now as it develops, and we just wanted to get this on paper, not that somebody pulled the driveway wider than we would have had expectations for.
So the 224s are separated by a 10-foot?
10-foot,
Or 148-foot
Correct.
contiguous? Okay.
correct.
So does this apply to, so it just says duplex on here, and I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the R2 zoning, but if somebody just wants to abuse this and they have a duplex that's not a side-by-side, and they just decide they want a really fat driveway, they can go ahead and do that?
Theoretically,
Yeah.
that's not the concern. The current concern is
Yeah,
a new build.
Yeah, I got the concern. I just wondered if there's a way that this can be used in a way that wasn't intended.
I don't know if any of our multifamilies residentially fall into an R2 zoned area that are top and bottom. Those are all.
That's why I posed the question is.
Yeah, I think the R2 is the caveat that we would need to look at, because
Okay.
most of the R2s are designated for side-by-side duplex construction versus top and bottom.
Okay. Just thinking that, when somebody's making a parking lot,
Yeah.
if they just have a, turn their whole front yard into a
It's a
parking lot.
good catch, but I think Dave's right. Most of them are in R1.
Okay.
Like down the street from Julie, those are all R1, but they're either 2 or some are 3.
So the 10-foot width between 248 or 224-foot driveways, is that in a different ordinance? Like
No,
if
it's
somebody's put, where does it say? Okay, I'm lost.
Is that restricted to a different property?
That is other language in 80-3. I put on,
That's on a different,
it's in 803, but it might, I believe it might, Julie, honestly, I think it might be, if you look on, and Bob can pull it up, it's on that page.
I'm just thinking if anybody looks it up and then they see this, but
Yep.
they didn't know about the 10-foot space between the two, would it make sense to
I'm
marry
fairly
those up?
positive, Bob, it's right in 80-3, 8-03-A or B.
We only grab the specific subsection we're
Section,
changing.
okay, and that's, but
Yeah.
you get where I'm,
Yeah.
you know, somebody
Yep.
can see this and go, oh, that's fine.
The problem is, Public Works was issuing permits for these driveways when they were technically in violation, but the builders are going that way with center driveways instead of 2 divided driveways.
Yeah, Dave, on 803, sub 2, sub D is in David. At the end, it says any 2 approaches shall be at a minimum at least 10 feet apart.
Okay,
All right,
so it's two subsections down.
okay.
So you need a motion to approve?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Make motion to approve O-8-19.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. E, any other miscellaneous topics for future discussion?
Yeah. I ended up with a short chair again tonight.
Thank you.
I had the tall one.
Well,
I don't know who
does it stay
Who
up?
keeps moving it around?
We did change the cylinders on the ones that were affected, so it's.
You know, that's part of the hazing process.
You know who gets
I
it?
think Shauna should end up with it now.
Gets a check. Peter,
It doesn't
Peter,
stay
you
up.
suggesting the nameplate should go on the back of the chairs?
I think so.
It won't stay up.
No, you
Okay.
sit on it for a little bit.
We'll have to
it
get
just goes
another
up.
cylinder. It's not the
Yeah.
end of the world.
We've been dealing with this for some time.
Yes, we have.
We've
Okay.
prepared a
I'm
couple
finished.
already.
Is there anyone else? 9, report of village officials. A, administrator.
Additional handout that I just gave you. After the report today was another, I'm not gonna disclose the participant, but we are aggressively seeking a property owner for the two pieces of land adjacent to the Gilbert's grocery store, so we're working on developing that property. We have had some discussion, sorry, John, I don't want to get in the paper, but we're working on it. There's, I think what I'm gonna say, I don't know, Carl, 75% chance that the land's gonna get accepted and approved and put before you for a project plan here for TID 3. So, things are moving along. Nathan, I'll give Nathan credit on this one. Last week we collected our rent check for May for the Opera House. from inner and outer strength. He hasn't grown it to the numbers he's expected yet. He is capped at $500 monthly. We collected $440 last week, so it's a positive revenue for the Opera House. So we are seeing a monthly rental coming in from his inner and outer strength, and he's growing that business nicely. So moving forward, I want to give credit also to Peter Oak and Carl, as well as Chris, myself, Jeannie. We took part in the Arbor Day event behind the Village Hall here. Peter, 94 plants, correct?
Monarch Garden.
Monarch Garden behind here, and yeah, and then a tree. That was a nice day. We had a great planting, and was able to get all those in the ground in less than an hour's time. So hopefully that.
I wanted to say that tree was donated by Wolf Rafts.
Okay.
They've
I'm
been
gonna
good
say
to us
that-
over the years.
The Hortville Civic Association paid $400 or $500 for the plants.
Okay.
Nice.
So we had great donations. We had good help, and it was a good day. So everything turned out well. Like I said, many hands make light work. We also had 2 walkthroughs of the municipal building in the last week. Energy consultants, for those of you who don't know, we've been having issues with the light ballasts. A lot of these are fluorescent light ballasts, and we've been losing ballasts. My recommendation, having owned commercial properties in the past, was to look at not just fixing and replacing it, but doing an energy consultation, see what it would cost the village to, at this point, if we're gonna continually lose these ballasts that are 3 or 4 years old, upgrade into an LED. So I had these 2 energy consultants walk the building and took the plans. They're in preparations right now of coming back with a quote. A lot of it is government money that's available through the Focus on Energy programs. Have not signed on anything, it's not cost anything, I wanted to produce that to see what would be the best options moving forward. Significant energy savings by switching ourselves out of sodium bulbs in the parking lot and fluorescents to potentially getting to LED-based bulbs and lighting fixtures.
Are they looking at replacing or refitting?
A little bit of both. Some applications replacing, some applications refitting, depending on the fixture.
Okay, so the interior lighting,
Yes.
if you're looking at a mix?
Some of these they rewire,
Okay.
some of them they refit. Sometimes it's cheaper to put a new fixture in rather than rewire the fixture, believe it or not. It all depends on what they allow in certain applications.
We did
And-
focus on energy on the farm, and they came up with a whole broad plan.
Yep.
It was great. I love
Yep.
this.
Yep.
Yeah, I love the idea.
So, like I said, we're not bound to anything. I just wanted to get 2 bids, one from a true energy consultant and the other one from a local electrician, to see where they're at, see what they come in with, and see what kind of programs are out there. Because it's, sometimes, you could walk into Menards, Home Depot, Lowe's, and a fixture like that's probably $50 to $80, where you can get it from a Focus for $20 to $25 with the LEDs. So, but there's also 101 fixtures in this building. So there's a lot of applications here. Some of them have been updated, some of them have only been updated with bulbs. So it's not the ideal situation, there's more work, So,
Carl, the LED lighting that was, and then not to make this a discussion, but the LED lighting that was done in the library, has that made an impact, or are you having any problems with that, or is that?
It's not significant, but yeah, it's made an impact.
And they've been hardy, they haven't,
We haven't had any issues with the LED bulbs we put in.
and nobody really noticed that the library is LED.
The majority of the bulbs in the building are the 4-foot fluorescents that need to be changed out. Quite a few in the library, but all the cans and pendant lights have been swapped over. We did that internally. But these are a little different ballgame. And the ones in the offices are 2-stage ballast, so we're not sure if they'd even work with a LED 4-foot bulb. So that's the ones that David's referring to that might be rewired,
Great.
because it's a 2-stage switch. And LEDs don't like that. So-
Yeah, I did a refit estimate for my space, the business I own. But I'd be interested to see it. I mean,
Yeah.
what the numbers are, because.
Nathan also supplied them with our energy, our utility bill. So not only will they give us a bid on what, they're gonna give us an estimation of what lumens we're using and our approximate cost savings. The 10,000 square foot facility that I owned prior to this job, we did an upgrade, and I had 51 fixtures in that facility. I saw about a $220 a month decrease in power usage in the first month. So, our last utility bill for this facility was $1,345, split amongst the different departments, so I think we'd see something significant.
In my last employer, they bought them, but self-hung them, and the payback was 2 years.
Yeah.
And so,
Worth investigating. I mean, energy consumption's not getting any cheaper. Any other discussion?
Thank you for doing
Okay,
that.
yeah, no problem. I also submitted a DOT grant to Amy Bastian. She's the director of the Outagamie County ADRC. This has to deal directly with our rideshare program that we're building out for 2020. It's an 8521 grant, so that's a state grant. If goes well, and she's, I don't put the cart before the horse, but she's very optimistic that we'll see an 80-20 grant split between the state and the county, and then also matching funds with a trust fund to purchase a new vehicle. So I think we're sitting in a really good position here going into 2020 on that. More to come. She did not give me a date of decision date, but they do their budgeting in June. So I'm hoping that we hear some kind of confirmation on that program very soon. As reported in the last report, I told you we'd be starting cross-training. I believe Jane has started with Libby, correct? And I have started with Lisa, so we are cross-training our employees in the municipal building. So in case the unthinkable happens, we are starting to back up our services. Nathan has also been up to speed with a lot of the stuff in there, so more heads that know procedures, the better. I'll hand this one off to Carl. We're putting together just the final details on the Grandview project. He's gonna talk about the timeline here that he's handed out to you. Should be ready to go by the first week in June. A few minor tweaks and twists yet, but we had our pre-construction meeting on the 14th, and most of the contractors are in line, ready to go. It's just Mother Nature always plays into this with start dates. There has been some small things done on the roadway already, and we did get permissions to start brushing and limbing. If the weather's okay and they have guys or crew in the vicinity, they're gonna start cutting trees and getting ready to be ready for this June 3rd starting date. And then a few external meetings. I attended the Wisconsin Municipalities Mutual Insurance Seminar last week in Wisconsin Dells. And you can see by my red head, we were at a golf outing yesterday and partook in some sun with the Rural Water Association golf outing in Wapaka.
What was your score?
75. That's on 18 holes.
Pretty good.
Best ball?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
best
not
ball.
me golfing, 75. No, we had a good
Really
day.
good.
We, Ryan St. John joined us, and then we had a gentleman from Dealsville that filled out our foursome, so. A little bit of water talk to start the day, and then we enjoyed some afternoon golf. So that's all I
Does
have.
anyone have any other questions for the administrator? Then we will move on to B, the clerk treasurer.
Do you have any updates on the Greenville? Right now?
Nothing on Greenville.
No.
No.
Okay.
No. Are you talking about the corporation or the
Yeah.
PD?
Just any information that came back yet?
Nothing.
Do we have a timeline for expecting when that should happen?
The corporation meetings?
Yeah.
They do have a few. There's a few in July coming up now.
I think it's like July 25 or thereabouts.
Okay.
There's the next hearing. The next two hearings are gonna be in Madison though.
Okay.
And then there's one at the beginning of September, and that's when the final decision is made.
Okay.
So that's where it's at, yeah.
All right. Thanks.
And they come back with, like I said, yes, no, or no, but look at this different option. So that's kind of where they directed Joel. Chris and I met with Joel last week on a different topic, and he seems optimistic, but he knows he's got a lot of work to do yet. So,
I just wasn't real clear on what the timeline for.
yeah.
when to
Yeah,
expect
and
it.
again, I was there for the meeting in Greenville. There wasn't a lot of participation, so I can't imagine that people are gonna travel to Madison to be a part of it, other than just the people directly involved with the village or the town of Greenville. So,
Okay.
Anyone else have questions for Dave? Then we move to the clerk treasurer.
Nathan and I will be attending the Outagamie County, there's a clerk's clutch it's called tomorrow. Because of the difficulty with the modeming at the last election where the machine didn't work, they're gonna set up some new emergency procedures, and they want us to be a collection point for Town of Bobina, Deer Creek, Maine, Maple Creek. Nope, Dale, Ellington, Hortonia, Liberty. So those communities would bring us their hard drives, little flash drives, and then we would take them to Allegheny County if the machine doesn't work. So, more to learn on that. Nathan's been updating the forms on the website to be fillable. That's pretty exciting. So like if someone wants to rent the Opera House, they can just go to the website and fill it out online. They don't have to come in or, so that's nice.
Nice.
Nathan sent letters to the dog owners that didn't renew their license. There's a whole sheet. 46. And I think police is gonna be following up with that, with those people. And liquor licenses are being sent for publication. Heroes has closed as of May 6th. I don't know if everybody knew that.
So that means there's a liquor license available, is that?
Two
Well,
Two? Yeah, well,
from
Yep.
the,
There's two available?
Studio
I
Lounge.
think
Studio Lounge.
Studio Lounge, I know they reapplied, but does that just?
They only
work?
applied, it was a 6-month, they
Okay.
applied through December, so that one's done too. Family Dollar has applied for a cigarette license, and the Class A liquor license is coming from them. And Always Beautiful Blooms wants to apply for a Class A liquor license to sell wine. So, that's all I have.
Are there any questions for the clerk treasurer? Not, we'll move to C, Director of Public Works.
Just a couple, I handed out a project schedule for Grandview. Lays out some of the timelines for some of the components of the project. Also, I just wanted to let you know, I'm working on a project for special needs signage. Right now, we don't have a way of tracking what I call special needs signage. That's autistic child, handicapped child, blind, maybe deaf child. Right now, we haven't in the past tracked those, so we don't know if those people move away, the history behind these signs. So what I want to do is start tracking that, and most communities do set up a fee for that, so we'll probably institute a fee for that as well. It happens very rarely, but we do need a way to track that. We've had the county install some on South Nash Street, and the house was put up for sale like 3 weeks later after these people requested it. So they don't know, we don't know, so we want a better way of tracking that. We want contact information, notification, that kind of stuff. We had a lab audit at the wastewater plant. Ryan did a great job there. A couple deficiencies, but they always find something they have to, that's their job. Anyways, we had to buy a new drying oven for our lab, our testing procedures. We were falling out of range. It has to be between 103 and 105. Every once in a while it would go to 106, so we had to buy a new drying oven. Those things are about, well, $2,446. And they also didn't like our laboratory testing book. It's called Standard Methods. They told us we needed to buy a new one. We bought a new one. Then they told us they didn't approve the brand new one. They only approved the one that's out of publication. So they sent us links for one that's out of publication, and the first link went to a $1,000 used book. So we finally found some 21st editions. They're close to $400. Some are $5 for used books. And again, it's just because the DNR can't keep up on their end that we have to spend this kind of money. So you know how that goes.
How much was the new book?
The new book was only 300 something bucks.
Okay.
But the used ones, they know people are still have to use them, so they jack up the price. I don't really have any handouts, so if anybody's got any questions for me, feel free to ask.
The contractor for grant, for the project, they've given you emergency numbers and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, what we're gonna do is, you don't have it in front of you, but we've got a notification that's gonna be going out to all the affected residents. It contains phone numbers, contacts, for both the contractors and the engineering firm. Plus I'll give out my card as well.
There was a concern about mailboxes too, I'm assuming.
That's gonna be addressed as
covered.
well in that letter, that this is gonna be sent out to all the people prior to the construction project starting. For now, the mailboxes are gonna be down on the end of Crestview, so.
Carl and I had a first look at it today, so we sent it back with, I don't think there was any changes to it, correct?
No changes.
So he's gonna finalize it, we'll get a copy to everybody here. It has everybody's contact information on it.
So basically, MCC is gonna send it out, but it's been reviewed by us and the engineering firm, so. I don't think it's on here, but we're probably gonna want to have some public works committee meetings in the next month or two prior to budget season, so we can lay out capital improvement plan for the next 5 years again. So Dan will probably spearhead that. I'm not sure, I'm sure there might be a public facilities meeting or two in there, so. That's all I have.
Any more questions for Carl?
Yes. Public Facilities Committee, I chair upon your appointment. Pat Lundmo, but then it says vacant.
That would be Shauna then.
Okay. Thank you.
Moving on to D, Police Department.
We finished up our audit, that went well, submitted everything to the state, so now we're just waiting for them to review it. Could take a couple months to hear back if there's anything that we need to do. We know that there's one thing that, we need to do, the back room where it's got the server and everything needs to be in a secured area. However, we can't secure it because the squad room goes out to the garage. There is a door there, but you would be going through door to get to the garage. So, Corporate Network Solutions is suggesting that we purchase a server cabinet, and then we can just put everything in there. And then it's secured for the state, so. So we're looking at that. That's nothing that we have to do right away, but it's something that we have to look at in the future. Last day of school is gonna be on June 10th, that's a Monday. So the following day, I think, is when they're gonna start the summer school. We've been very, very, very busy in all of the schools. Kids are getting restless. We've had some pretty severe complaints coming out of there, with kids that are just misbehaving. On Monday, we had our meeting with, Brian and I had our meeting with the school concerning the SRO position. Currently, right now, we have a 1.5 position. Brian's the full-time SRO for the Hortonville schools, and Brian Hauser is the part-time one for the Greenville schools. We met with the committee. The committee is bringing a recommendation to the school board to continue services with Hortonville. So now it just needs to go to the board for their approval. The driveways on Nash Mills and Dewey, we put some yellow paint. Every weekend starting Thursday night, we were getting multiple complaints all the way through Saturday because people are parking right across or into other people's driveways. People weren't able to get out of their driveways. During the winter, they were so narrow that they couldn't leave their houses. So we painted the yellow on them, and we have not received one complaint.
Black Otter, separate.
I got it.
Yeah.
So that's going very well. So we've received phone calls, or the officers have, when they're in the area, they're being thanked for, thank the village for taking care of this problem for them. So they are very, very happy.
I think what we'll do next year is, we clean up the snow for the downtown businesses because it's tight in there and we're trying to help with parking. I have in the past went over by Black Otter and cleaned up snow there again because they're tight and parking issues. But I've gotten a lot of complaints from people for doing that, but I'm going to keep doing it, just so you know, that we'll clean up that area. We didn't do that so much this winter, but then we get complaints because of parking, and the police have to go over there all the time and babysit people. So we're probably going to clean that area up a few times next winter, complaints or not, so.
It's not so much that. I mean, if you can't get a fire truck in there or through there,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna
It's a
have
safety
issues,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's nature of the beast, and we have to We have to take care of it and make sure that people are safe. We tell people you park in front of a fire hydrant, and if we can't locate you, we're busting out your windows. And the
Right.
hose is going right through your windows, because that's what the fire department's telling us. You know, and all agencies say that, so.
Are there any questions for the chief? Not, we'll move to E, the library director.
Not a whole lot. We're still plugging away at summer programming. My hope is to have our summer programming flyer ready to be distributed next week. I just had to wait for minor details from our coordinating partners at the school district for a program we're coordinating with them. Sign up is starting Tuesday, May 28th, so right after Memorial Day. Last year we had about 980 some people signed up, so I'm hoping this year that we'll get just as great of a number, or if not more. The Friends of the Library book sale was this past weekend, and the final total was just over $1,400 raised, which was pretty exciting. They had a bake sale going on that was by donation only, nothing was priced, and they raised $250 just at that, without having anything priced, which was pretty exciting. I saw a few board members there, which we appreciate the support. That's all I have.
Are there any questions for the library director? We will move on to F, attorney.
Nothing this evening unless there's questions.
Does anyone have any questions for Bob?
Okay, thank you.
We'll move on to G, building permit report. It is in the packet. Are there any questions?
Pretty impressive.
There's also more news that I don't wanna make in the press, but there's a prospective buyer for one of our subdivisions that's being developed as we speak, so, sorry, John, taking your thunder. So, if that comes to fruition, we're gonna see, and I'm gonna say it's an aggressive contractor, so, that potentially will fill another 17 to 20 lots this year, so.
Move on to 10, communications and miscellaneous business. Black Otter Lake District News.
I'll take that since Pat's not here. They had their meeting last night. The committee approved utilizing that grant money that they received, the grant that David wrote for them, towards going 50-50 and towards the storage shed at the wastewater plant. With the Lake District getting one half of the shed and Public Works getting the other half. Maybe Jim doesn't know, but we've got about 10 pounds of equipment in a 5-pound shed. So. Anyways, the Lake District was kind enough to dedicate that money towards that shed.
35,000 and change.
And they're taking, the new weed harvester should be in on the 28th, I believe, with training for staff and everybody and other members of the Lake District that day.
So I have a question on that. How do you choose who drives that?
They look for volunteers, and then they train those volunteers, and I guess if they feel comfortable with them, they'll let them operate it.
Who-
There's no license
approves
required.
it?
I don't think there's a license.
Bull does, Black Otter Lake District does.
Yeah.
Okay,
The village doesn't have much to do with it.
right. But I know in the past, we've had, you know, and now we have a new machine. It would be nice to keep it new and,
Hence the shed, keeping it out of the weather.
Yeah.
And the sunlight, the UV rays are the worst thing ever for hydraulic lines and all that good stuff. So
Mhm.
we were constantly, well, not we, but the Lake District was constantly repairing the other one. It just, the sun
Right.
takes a toll on that old stuff, so. And they're also looking at scheduling their annual meeting, but I don't think they set a date yet.
This is the weed cutting machine?
Yeah, for the lake.
Okay.
They're
How often do
also in the middle of doing what they call a point survey. That's where they go out and survey, you know, what weeds are out there, whether they're native or invasive. And then once they get the results of that survey back, then they're gonna have dash services performed. That's where the divers go down and suck up the bad weeds, the invasive species. And once that's done, then they're gonna start harvesting the other areas, so. They're a busy little group.
How often do they try to harvest? Just curious, I kayak.
It's
out
in their
on the lake and
permit. I know
can
they can't
reach
go
down
out every
usually just
day and
grab
cut
the weeds 'cause
grass,
they're
but,
only this far from the surface.
yeah.
Yeah, but the DNR restricted them, I think, wasn't it last year?
Right, last year they broke down
Yeah.
also, so they didn't harvest at all.
They
Okay.
couldn't come within, what, 100 feet of the shoreline? They had to stay out in the middle, which really
That's
totally
not
was
much of a lake,
ridiculous.
They have to actually submit a plan to the DNR to get approved, where they can cut, where they can't cut.
Okay.
And, you can fudge it a little bit, John, but don't write that down.
Yeah, don't put that in there.
It's on video anyways, but you do what you do. You do
Okay.
what you do.
Are there any
I-
questions for Carl?
Yeah, I don't think there's any more.
B is Hortonville, Hortonia Fire District News. Jim, do you have anything to report?
The meeting was canceled because of death and funeral. I'm not sure who it was. I was in the parking lot waiting until that's when I found out. They attempted to reschedule for another date and that one didn't work. And right now, they're looking at the 30th is the next meeting.
Okay. C is Gold Cross Ambulance Run Report and News, and that is in the packet. D is Hortonville Civic Association.
Moving along nicely, plans are coming together. John and I are gonna do a write-up for the paper, so there'll be some more information in there.
Any questions for Peter? E is Senior Activities Committee, and that is Pat, and she's out tonight,
The next,
11.
Meeting is next week.
yeah,
Next week, Thursday, 1 o'clock, right?
yep, Thursday the 23rd.
And then 11 is comments and suggestions from citizens present.
I just wanted to note that while David talked about the lighting project, those 4 light balances just went out. When he was talking about that. Nobody else saw it, but I did. And I wonder if I could add that to my story. As Mr. Detroit mentioned, the light valves problem, 4 of them went out.
But is that the
Those
time?
are on
But they're on
timer.
the timer.
Oh,
They're on motion sensors.
Forgive me, I should never.
Get up and dance around, John, and be.
I thought, wow, how could a writer ask for anything more? It's like the time you were talking about the no-through street, and David said, there goes one.
Yeah.
I worked for about an hour and a half trying to fit that into the story. Thought I was gonna do 2 for 2 here, but,
You think you jinxed it?
sorry, I shouldn't speak that.
No.
There not being any comments or suggestions, we'll move to adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.